So the men have now moved on to looking at boulder number 2. This is quite a techie slab, a very classic problem that we see on the IFSC circuit. Requires a lot of balance and technique, and the route setters told me earlier that our zone marked number 10 is slightly a red herring for the athletes. It's a little bit low down, and the athletes are going to be a little bit wide if they rely on that zone to get to the top, to that big compression move at the top. So a lot of athletes are going to have to work out that they cannot put too much weight through zone number 10. They're going to have to shuffle their hand up and press hard against the wall to get up into the finish hold mark 25, which is also a dual text hold, with the good side being the yellow textured bottom half of the hold.
So that number 10 hold, the wall that it's on is the same wall we saw the girls finals using on their slabby problem, and we've got to see if these guys figure it out. Most of them watch the girls. Hopefully they got a little hint at the beta through that, and we'll...
Yes, definitely. We hope they realize how important that wall is going to be to finish this problem.
Yeah, we only know once they're busy climbing.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting round, and the remaining 2 problems, which we're going to see the men look at soon, those are more powerful, and the last boulder problem is the most powerful of the round, and the red problem, which is boulder number 3, I believe, that one requires a bit more coordination. So we'll see as the men move on to those problems soon.
So they've got about 10 seconds left of their viewing time, and then they'll be moving on to the next problem. Overall, they got 2 minutes per boulder to have a look at, and off they go. IFSC jury presidents directing them through this process. And will you run us through problem number 3?
Yes, so problem number 3, as I said, requires a little bit more coordination for the men. They have a bit of like a run jump start to that first zone number 5. From there, it is quite powerful up to the top of the boulder. The route setters had told me earlier that this is the one that requires the most coordination, so we will see. I think it might be quite a good leveler for these men. A lot of them in this final today are boulder specialists, so I'm very excited to see what they can do.
Thanks, Ange. Just had to go grab Tony, who's going to join us later once the boys start climbing. How do you think these guys are feeling standing on the mat? They're about to begin the round of their lives in a way. The qualification event for the Olympics is what we're witnessing. Bouldering one half of the Boulder Lead combo.
Yeah, I can only imagine they're quite nervous, but I think also quite excited. We are very lucky that the grey clouds and the rain has washed over, and hopefully is going to stay away from us. We had a bit of rain about 10-20 minutes ago, and our brushing team were great. They dried all the mats, and we are now ready to start the round. So I think all the men will be quite relieved and excited that the round is proceeding, and we just hope we can finish the round and move on to the lead later this evening.
Yeah. What happened last night with the ladies is that we had a massive thunderstorm that caused us to postpone it till this morning. So if you watched that, I'm sure you enjoyed. And now we're on to the men, the final of the Olympic qualifier climbing comps that we've had going on. We've got 2 climbers qualified for speed, Josh Brains and Anya Holder. And this morning we saw Lauren McIver qualify for Boulder Lead.
Yeah, it was very exciting. I hope everyone at home watched. It was an epic finals, very, very close, down to the wire. But Lauren, in the end, took it with, I think, 0.2 points. So very excited for her. She's obviously got a lot of training to do this upcoming year, but I think she was very, very excited with the win.
Yeah, I mean, winning a ticket to the Olympic Games, Paris 2024, definitely a big deal for anyone, and especially for us here in Africa, South Africa. This is very exciting thing.
No,
the boys moving
definitely.
on to men's number 4.
So this boulder problem is the most powerful. It is going to require a lot of strength from the guys. The route setters do think a lot of the men in this category should be able to top it, but the RVC holds that are where the zone mark 5 is, I've been told by the route setters they are obviously dual takes, but they also are incredibly flat. So with the angle of the wall, it's going to be quite difficult for the men to hold them, and they're going to have to be quite precise with their feet and their body positioning to be able to keep their body tension and close to the wall. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of power going to be required from the legs, pushing and pulling the body, keeping it in place.
Definitely, and I mean, it's not over after there. We've still got to move through to zone 10 and then traverse kind of sideways to the zone number 25, and those holds are also very, very small, and also dual takes, the remaining of those little triangular holds that we see.
Okay, so still 50 seconds left on the clock for these guys to have a look at. See Mal putting a barefoot on the hold there. Don't know what anyone will have to say about that, but too late now. It's happened. It's allowed, but I mean...
Bit unconventional, but...
Yeah, did he chalk up that foot before he put it on there? Who knows?
Only hope.
You can only hope.
So the competitors are allowed to touch the starting holds for an IFSC event, so that's why a lot of the men are coming up and feeling out the starting holds to see how they will start the boulder problems and where they can get their body into the most comfortable position to start and pull onto the wall.
Yeah, so we've got 8 competitors, all of them from South Africa. We had Emmanuel from
Uganda. Who
came
to join us.
Who came to join us, made it into the semi-finals. And all of these guys have gone through a national qualification process here in South Africa to make it through. And now they are here representing South Africa, hoping to win a spot at the Olympics. Okay, that's the end of their time. That's the end of their viewing time. Okay, everybody, that's the end of the viewing time. The competitors are going back behind the wall. And very shortly we'll have our first climber out, hopping on to climb number 1. Luke Eberhard will be the first of our climbers.
Do you need the handheld microphones to be streaming? Don't it? Definitely for the ceremony at the end. The time has come, bro. Let's go.
Angela, big thank you for joining me in the commentary box.
Only a pleasure. Can you hand over to Tony? He was one of our competitors who took part in the qualification yesterday. He's also very involved with the performance program in the Western Cape and is a personal trainer. Yeah, so he's going to be taking over from me and yeah, enjoy the race, and we're excited to see how the round goes.
Lekker. Thanks, Ange. See you after the comp. Tony, welcome to the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Alistair. I'm very happy to be here, very excited for the competition.
Sure, we had a hectic experience watching the girls qualify this morning. Nail-biting stuff. Where were you? How did you find it?
I was sitting in the comfort of my own house, luckily out of the heat. I was extremely stressed. My hands were so sweaty. At one point I did have to chalk up watching the lead. It was a really, really exciting competition. I really, really enjoyed watching the setting and watching the females perform on the boulders that the amazing, amazing, amazing route setting team has set.
Yeah, it's been really incredible to watch the performance that's happened today, and a huge part of it is the route setting team that create the climbing competition. Without route setters, we've got no climbs, we've got no holds on the wall, we've got no way to separate the climbers. And we've, just for those at home who are wondering, we're at Loftus Versfeld Stadium. Got a big rugby game happening a little bit later. Biggest sport in South Africa. And we've got the Continental Championship, which is for sport climbing, possibly one of the smallest sports in South Africa. And we're on the D field. There's a band behind us warming up the crowd, getting everyone prepped for the rugby. So if you hear a bit of background music, we apologize for that. We are waiting for the signal for the climbers to be coming out. Should be coming through shortly.
To mute the mic, just press it against your body. Press it hard against your body.
We have Luke.
Okay, we got our first climber coming out onto the mat. Luke Eberhard hopping on men's problem number 1. Luke, you got 4 minutes. All right, everybody. Our first climber out, Luke Eberhard. Luke being from the Western Cape. Tony, tell us about him.
Luke is a extremely strong outside boulderer. Wow, almost stuck that first go. He has done 3 AP pluses in Rocklands this year. I think he's trying to move on to his fourth, one of the hardest boulders in Cape Town. I think he's put in some sessions into Murta, another AP plus. But Luke is absolutely just extremely strong. Every time I go bouldering with him, he just amazes me by just pulling ridiculous moves. He's also got such an amazing talent for finding brand new beta that no one else thinks about. So he'll maybe throw a knee bar here, or throw a knee bar there, or just does something completely different from us.
And Luke's been climbing since he was quite a young lad, doing some trad climbing, and sticks the jump to the first hold.
This next sequence still looks a little bit tricky, looks a little bit pressy. There we go.
You know what they say, don't stem when you can drop knee.
It's looking very strong.
Really pressing his body up there, getting his shoulders involved, reaching across with the palm and the foot press. Walks his feet up that number 5. Gets a little bit of chalk, super crucial in these humid conditions. We just had a rainstorm. Really nice climbing from Luke. We saw only one top in the entire round of ladies bouldering, and here's Luke making his way to the top. He'll get it. The judges will give it to him there.
Just needs to match the final hold.
Just needs to match the final hold there.
He's done it.
He's got it. Really nice climbing there from Luke.
Nice. I think that was third go.
One climber down, one top. The system's going to reset, and we're going to bring out the next climber.
Luke was complaining of a little shoulder niggle in his right shoulder throughout this competition, but it seems like he's doing very good today.
Next climber out is Jack. Okay, next climber going to be coming out onto the wall. We got Jack Birmingham. Okay, Jack Birmingham. We saw a really strong performance from him in the semis. He's SA team captain at the Youth Worlds this year. Really strong boulderer.
Jack is also from the Western Cape. I train quite a lot with Jack. Very interesting character. Very strange climber as well. He's not particularly exceptionally strong, but oh my goodness, is he good at climbing. He just moves so well on the wall, and he knows how to learn from every single attempt that he... Oh, wow.
Oh, super good effort there from Jack. That was his flash go, eh?
That was second go.
That was second go. Just falling off the top there.
Yes. I think he'll make the adjustment that he needs on his next go to make sure that he hits that top hold correctly. And then he'll find the match and find the top.
Jack just having a look at the time there. Still got just under 3 minutes left on the clock. Plenty of time to catch his breath, chalk up. Let's see if he runs the clock down a little. Looks like he is pulling himself in towards himself. He's back on the wall. Let's see what happens.
Sticks the first hold, goes into the press. Oh, foot just pops off there. Asking for a brush.
Gets a nice brush on that big slopey foothold.
I'm glad that it has cooled down a little bit. Jack and Luke are staying with me currently, and they were a little bit worried about the attempts that the weather app was showing. But it's nice that it's cooled down a bit and there's some shade from the sun.
Yeah, we were expecting about 35 degrees Celsius today, and it's cooled down to a balmy, probably high 20s at the moment.
Something around there.
We've got a nice breeze rolling through Pretoria.
Just eyeing out that last move again. Oh. Seems like his positioning is just slightly off. Don't know if matching the left hand is the best option.
Can see that nice breeze rolling through the stadium. Ruffle of the shirt.
He just needs to compose his health for the last move. I think he's feeling a little bit flustered, a little bit rushed. I think he's feeling the pressure getting to him, falling off the last move twice now. There we go.
Yo, just skating the foot and managing to catch it there with the right. Nice and strong, pressing up into that, sorting out the feet, getting that high left foot. Setting his right foot up for the jump now. Let's see if he gets his body in a better position.
Oh,
Just not managing to hold it. Squeezing with the left hand, engaging the thumb so he can hold his body into the wall. Just not enough power left. He's got 20 seconds left. Let's get ready for our next climber. Our next climber coming out onto the wall, we got Colin Curtis. Next climber out, Colin Curtis, was with me in the commentary box earlier for the ladies, and now he's coming out to take part. Currently ranked 6th from the semis, and he's climbing now 3rd on the start list.
Karen's an amazing, amazing climber. Been climbing for something like 20 years. He did 8B plus last year. Oh wow, first try on the jump. Amazing stuff from Colin Curtis.
Colin will have been watching the ladies. He was watching the ladies with me. He knows that it's anyone's game. Anyone can have a bad day, anyone can have a good day. And I'm sure he's hoping to have the best day of his life.
He's chalking up, eyeing out that last move. I hope he can get the position to jump. Oh wow, there we go. That's a flash from Calvin.
Yeah, super good climbing from Calvin there. He'll be super chuffed with that. That's the best you can do. First climb, first flash we've seen of the competition. Just needs to get the little piece of paper from the judges.
That was really good climbing from Colin Curtis. Read that boulder perfectly and just executed first try. Amazing stuff. Let's see if the next competitor, Damien, can do the same thing. Damien's also a very, very strong technical climber.
Okay, our next climber climbing out onto the mat. We got Damien Blocker.
I've climbed quite a lot with Damien in the Western Cape recently. Man, he is really good on these kind of jumps. He's been practicing them quite a lot since he's been up here in Pretoria. Let's see how he does on this first move.
Tony, all of these climbers are amazing rock climbers. Comp climbing becoming more and more of a thing in South Africa, and we see a lot more climbers starting to train specifically in the comp style, the more dynamic flow, the more sequential and complex movements where you're mixing 2, 3, or 4 movements together instead of the slower, more static style of outdoor climbing. Heartbreak hotel there for Damien. Just slipping off the top on his flash attempt. Really good climbing, super smooth looking on the move through to 5 and through to the 10.
Looks like for the last move, for him and Jack, as they're jumping, it looks like their hips are just peeling away from the wall. Maybe it'll help if they could just start with the hips away from the wall and jump into it. Maybe.
Yeah, they've got that quite far behind them right foothold that they can use to bring their hips out a little and push their body forward into the wall. And you want to be as close to the wall as possible when you're catching it and trying to keep your body from swinging too far out.
100%. He's so smooth on that first move. Wow.
Can see that jumping practice really coming into place there.
Definitely. He's also extremely flexible, so I'm sure he'll find these kind of split positions really easy. Oh, there we go. Beautiful climbing from Damien. I don't know if he actually matched that top hold.
He did get given the top by the judges. He turned to have a look at them before he dropped down. And
there
looks
we
like
go.
they've given it to him there. I'm sure if anything important has to happen there, someone will deal with it. From what we can see, the judges are happy and they have given him the top. We'll check in on the results service and see if anything's happening there. In the meantime, let me introduce our next climber. All right, next climber out onto the mat. Alistair Stubbs coming through for problem number 1 and out for his second climb on men's 2 on the slab, Luke Eberhard.
We have the 2 tallest competitors and with the most reach on the mats right now. These guys know how to butcher beta just because of their length. Sometimes the setters just can't accommodate for that.
I think their combined reach is just under 4 meters. They just stood on each other's shoulders. They just make it to the final hold.
Definitely. Good stuff from Alistair Stubbs there, hitting number 5 first go.
Really nice climbing there from Alistair, missing the foot, but managing to hold it just with his hands. He's a really strong climber. We saw him do well yesterday. And man's been doing a lot of training. He lives up here in Johannesburg and might even be tall enough to try this static. You got to know he's thinking about it. Oh, just missing the slower, more in control move through to the finish hold, I guess.
He's having a look at that right hand of his. I think his skin might be a little bit thin from the qualifying round yesterday. I think the dry fire off that last hole doesn't help it either.
In the meantime, we got Luke, problem number 2 on the slab, getting a nice high right heel there. And
those starting holds are not good. Very, very, very slopey. So the stand-up move is going to be extremely hard, especially with somebody his size. This box just doesn't look like it quite suits him.
Yeah, really awkward there. And you can see his left hand just slipping a little on the start fiber there, the dual tex.
Chatting to the route setters earlier, they said that a left foot, standing up with the left foot would be the easiest, which he's doing now. There we go, he's almost getting it right. Just looks like the box doesn't quite fit him. Looks like he's struggling to just get over the foot.
Yeah, there's many times when it's an advantage to be a tall climber, but every now and then it is a disadvantage when you got to get into a small space, get your feet up really high next to your hands, and if your legs are long and your arms are long, makes it a bit awkward, a bit harder to balance.
Try to go down to the foot there before standing up. I don't know if that's going to be easier. Alistair having a little bit of a hard time sticking the first jump again.
The vibe behind us getting a little bit hectic. Apologies if any of that sound is making its way through our commentating microphones. Alistair looking really good there now.
Making his way back up to the last move. See if we can get it right this time. Come on, dude. Oh, so close. Looks like as he was going for the hold, the hips were just moving away from the wall. Not giving him enough time to hit the holds correctly before the body's peeling away. Luke's determined to maybe just get the 5 points. I think that'll be quite a big help in this comp.
As we saw with the ladies, 0.2 of a point separating climber number 1 and climber number 2. So any little extra thing can make a big difference. Luke with a buzzer beater getting the 5 points there. Really good climbing from him. Let me introduce our next climbers. Coming out next for South Africa from the Western Cape in a few seconds while we get a good brushing there on climb number 1. We've got Nicholas Allen. Nick Allen hopping on climb number 1. Jack Birmingham, climb number 2.
These two Western Cape climbers are very, very good friends, always climbing with each other, always going outside climbing with each other, always having good fun making coordination boulders in the gym. Jack is also very good at slab. He's been practicing a lot of it in the Western Cape. Foot just blows there.
These guys know as we get into the comp climbing season, being well-rounded as a climber is super important. Outside, you can just stick to those overhanging roofs or little crimpy problems, but when it comes to a comp, you got to be well-rounded. You got to be able to do the slab, and it's your ability in the climbs that are your weakness that really make a difference. If you're expecting to top the 2 climbs in your style, it's if you can get those 5 points in the climb that's not your style that can make a big difference.
Jack doing really well in the slab, using alternative beta, sending the left foot out first and then trying standing up. Nick also doing really well, getting into the shoulder move, moving up to number 10 soon. Wow, let's see if Nick can finish the boulder off.
As Angela mentioned, that left-hand press becoming super important, and Jack not even bothering with going for the 10 just yet, just trying to get his body stable. He knows once he's stable, he'll get the 10, and then he can carry on going through to the 25, which is the goal of a climber. Get to the top, gives you many, many more points than getting even 2/3 of the way up.
Nick just followed the top move of the first boulder. Looks like he just wanted to go straight to the pinch. I definitely think it will help a lot if he tries to aim for the pinch and the crimp on top of the pinch. Jack quickly back up to the number 10 move again. Oh, the right foot just came off. Jack is looking very good on the boulder. I think, I don't want to give a commentator's curse here. I think he'll be able to do it if he just composes himself, finds the body position.
Yep, Nick Allen, one of our strongest climbers, really great boulderer. Made it through to the IFSC semi-finals in the Youth Worlds 2 years ago in Dallas.
Yeah, you just saw his strength there, missing the foot completely, but just holding on.
Got 2 climbers high on the wall. Jack, let's see if he manages to get into that stable position. Looking for something for the right hand. Really got to trust the left foot. Bring his weight and body across. Just struggling to find that forward position into the press that'll hold him in, inadvertently pushing his body away from the wall with his hips and shoulders a little too far away.
Nick again just dropping the last move. Don't know if he's missing the crimp on top or if he thinks that he could just hold the pinch.
Unlucky there from Jack, really jolting his body with that extended left arm.
Both climbers are going to give it their last go. Come on, guys. Very quick stuff from Nicholas Allen. Oh, right hand just slipping off there.
Yeah, good climbing from Jack. He's going to get the 10 and he's going to see if he can do a buzzer beater. 10 seconds left on the clock. Really got to press with his left hand, getting his elbow involved there as well. Shuffling the feet up. Oh, missing the foot. He sees the time. He knows it's over. Let's get ready for our next climbers. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Next climbers coming out onto the mats. We've got Colin Curtis coming back for his climb on the slab. Second climb of the day for him. And we've got Mel Janse van Rensburg, who's going to come out for climb number 1.
Here we are, Mal and Carl out on the floor. Mal has been studying abroad in France, been training very, very hard, and you could see it from yesterday's semi-final round, topping all 4 boulders. Mal is not a huge fan of these jump movements, definitely prefers the slabby, techier style of climbing, but he has been working on this weakness of his.
So you can see the sun has come out. We've got Culren on the slab getting a little brush there. We got Mal giving his shoes a rub, getting a brush on that climb as well. Just directing the brusher where he needs it clean. Carl, currently the only climber to have flashed a climb on the slab. Goes super wide, trying some different beta there. Really balancing on that wall. Got a couple of centimeters where you can balance, and if you out of those centimeters, your body tips away from the wall.
Culren is an exceptional slab climber, exceptional climber in general. There we go, Mal. Mal sticks the jump finally. Straight into the press, making his way up to the left-hand crimp. He'll get the 10 points now. I think he'll take a second to compose himself and set himself up for the last move and the jump. So close.
Super close there from Mal. Gonna get another brushing. And Culren looking really smooth, really nice and controlled into that press. Gets a foot behind, stabilizing. This is where we saw Jack get to earlier. Carl with a really high right foot. Let's see if he can keep it on. Jack's foot popping off at the last second, causing him to fall off there. Carl, just popping off. He knows he was in a super good position. Still got a lot of time on the clock though, so let's see if he can get back up there and hopefully give us another top.
I think the setters wanted them to do a little stem kind of vibe and not get the high right foot like Culren and Jack did. But the volume is a little bit bad to stand on. It is quite scary to stand on, but I think it will be easier that way. Mal again on the last move, taking a sec to compose himself. Come on, Mal. Just missing the top there. Culren again up to number 5 very, very easily. Let's see if we can do it this time.
Yeah, Carl looking really good. Mal struggling, just under a minute left on the clock. We've seen that last move spit quite a few climbers off. And Carl, got to be a little bit heartbreaking to know you can get back up there. And being so close to the top, if he can get a top here, he'll put himself really in a good position.
Hands are just popping off the hold. 30 seconds, come on, Mal. Sticking the jump with ease, really learning that movement. Looking very comfortable in that press. Come on, Mal. Eyeing out for that last move again. Carl making an amazing press over to the wall.
Oh, super close there from Mal.
Super close from both climbers, almost had that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Culren Curtis, Mal Janssen van Rensburg. Our next climber is coming out onto the mat. We've got Christopher Cossa coming out for climb number 1 and Damien Blocker coming out for climb number 2. We've got Damien who got a top on climb number 1, and Chris, let's see if he can give number 1 a flash. That'll put him in a really good position going a bit later on into the lead. He's a top contender between Chris, Mal and Culren. I think we got a really tight group of climbers that are pretty well rounded.
Yeah, I definitely think Chris is the crowd favorite here. Looking like he tried a little bit on the first move. I did chat to him earlier and he did sound a little bit sick, like his throat was a little bit sore. I hope that doesn't throw him off. Looking very close on the last move.
Getting the brush there, getting involved, keeping the muscles warm. Damien on the slab, also giving that tiny little holder brush there. On the slab, when you got these big feet, the setters don't like to give you big hands. That'll make it too easy and then be like climbing a ladder.
Damien's also another exceptional slab climber. Very good technical abilities. I think maybe just reading the beta wrong. Everyone that's done it so far has sent the left foot out first instead of trying to stand up on the slopey starting holds. But he might prove me wrong. Just having a little pop on the right turn.
You can see how precarious these slabby climbs are. When you're in the right place and doing the right thing, they can feel super solid, but one move, couple of millimeters in the wrong direction, and you're off.
Chris again making it up to number 10 quite comfortably. Easy.
Chris getting the top from the judges there.
So I thought earlier the pinch was the finishing hold, but it seems like the root setters have put a crimp and the pinch and the crimp are touching, so that makes the crimp and the pinch the finishing hold. So matching either will give you the 25 points or minus however many attempts you took.
We did see a few climbers earlier dropping down to match on the pinch just in case. Nothing worse than landing back on the mat and the judge saying, sorry, you didn't get it.
Damien just struggling a little bit to stand up. It definitely seems like the beta is to send your left foot out first. Just seems like it puts your body in a better position. The standard move looks really, really hard. The foot that you're standing up on does not look great. Making it look easy, proving it wrong.
Damien just falling out of that stable position there. If he can hold that position and be stable, they'll really set him up. He's got a minute left. If he can get to the 10 or the 25, that'd be ideal. He did get a top on the problem number 1, so also doing really well in this round so far.
It's looking really good, looking quite comfortable. He's looking for holds to hold, but I think he might just need to commit up on the left foot, just like that, perfect.
Can see using his right hand thumb on the pinch there.
Let's see if we can do the palm press. The right hand just came off.
20 seconds left. He's going to give it another go, see if he can get into that 10.
I think he might call it now.
Yeah.
One more go. Let's go. That was really good effort from Damien.
Okay, that was the last climber for climb number 1. We're going back to the start of the list. We got Luke Eberhard coming out, first climber on climb number 3, and we got Alistair Stubbs on to problem number 2. Alistair Stubbs hoping to get a top on climb number 2. He's got the top hold a few times on climb number 3, but just didn't manage to get it. Luke looking good with the run and jump onto climb number 3 there at the start. Pretty similar to what we saw with the ladies. Bit of a dynamic movement into the start.
The establishing position of boulder number 3 does not really look that comfortable. The right hold is not super in cut and the volume is not amazing to stand on. It's quite slopey. As you can see,
that
it's just
volume, pretty much being vertical, slightly on angle surface there with the overhanging wall. not giving the climbers much to stand on at all.
Just looking back at the judges, trying to get a thumbs up for the establishment and then popping off. But I'm sure he's figured it out now, and I think he'll be able to get the establishment on the boulder quite.
We got Alistair Stubbs coming through there. Alistair and Luke looking pretty good there.
I think Luke is still having a hard time establishing the boulder. The route setter says it was not comfortable to establish, and they were right. Alistair doing really, really well, managing to get up to 5 quite casually. Let's see if we can get up to 10. Doing a really tricky foot match. That foothold that he's on, oh wow, very well done.
Really nice double hand fall across there from Alistair Stubbs.
The foothold that he's on, the big yellow one, is actually dual text. So the side facing the starting hold is dual text, and the side facing the wall, it's got friction, so split right down the middle.
We can see Luke really struggling to get into that start there. It's been a while since we've seen a technical start that people are struggling to establish. And nice to see that 5 points hold really being worth something on climb number 3. Alistair strapping on his chalk bag. Looks like he'll be going for the top on this attempt and ready to chalk up. Gets the brush, cleans off the holds that he's trying to stand on. Being able to stand on the slab is super important, and having a solid foot makes all the difference.
See if Luke can get the establishment. The setters were talking about just isolating the right arm and keeping your body stiff, and you can quickly tap and put the right foot back onto the wall. But it looks really tricky. I think he might have got it there. Maybe not.
Luke really struggling with his height there and the slipperiness of the feet on that big starting volume. And Alistair goes hands-free, gets a double dip in the chalk bag, squeezing that volume, using his palm and his fingers on the right hand, getting a little thumb buckling as well, trying to create some opposite force, anything to help hold his body into the wall. He's looking pretty comfy in that double hand fall across. His left hand really far out, almost behind him, and that holds his body in, makes it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more stable.
Alistair,
yeah, nice from Alistair. Gets the 10. Let's see if the judges are going to give it to him. Looks like he had it. We'll check the scores and update you in a little bit. Can you just... You can get your tablet with the results. Okay, ladies and gents, we got our next climbers coming out. Nicholas Allen hopping onto the slab. Jack Birmingham, climb number 3. All right, we got Jack hopping on climb number 3. He's established. He's in the number 5 hold, trying to figure out how to get a little bit further here. Really wondering about those slopey, smeary volumes that he's got to be standing on.
Jack just getting called off because the judges thought that he didn't tap the volumes. Let's see. There we go. Easily established.
Yeah, Jack finding that a lot easier than Luke did. We saw Luke spend his whole 4 minutes just trying to get the start established. Jack looking a little better there. And Nick looking nice and comfy on the slab. He's in a stable position, but he's got to leave that position and get into a bit of an uncomfortable position here.
Nick's been practicing a lot of slab in the Western Cape. And it definitely shows, it's definitely showing on this slab right now. Having a hard time to commit to that left foot just because of the Joltex part. There we go. Oh, just loses the balance at the last second. I think Nick might be feeling the pressure from not topping number 1, but extremely, extremely strong climber. I'm sure he can bring it back. Jack back onto the coordination part of Boulder 3. Just missing the left foot and the undercling.
These climbs looking really stiff. I mean, we saw with the ladies, only one top across the entire round of boulders. And definitely looking a little better so far, but we definitely would love to see more tops. But of course, the route setters not worried so much about tops, worried about spread. Little update for you on the scores if you're not currently tuned into the IFSC scoring service. Currently in first place, we've got Calren, 34.8 points. Damien Block on 29. Luke Eberhard on 29. Chris Cossa, 24.9, but he's only done one climb.
Jack just shaking his head at the judges. Jack is looking like he's getting a little bit upset at himself or at the judges, at the boulders. Nick, on the other hand, is doing very, very, very well. Looking a little bit quite comfortable on that Joltex foot.
Jack getting a little bit of a vibe from the crowd there. Nothing like some external energy to get you psyched. Jack's known for riding the vibe of the crowd. Sinking quite low with his body there. Just not managing to stick it, but doing really well getting his body in a good position there.
Nick is making the stand-up move look really easy now. Getting up to 5 super casually. Let's see if we can get the fall across. Oh, almost had it. The hips were just moving back as he had his hands in position.
You saw Jack just checking with the judges that he'd been given the start as a valid start. Okay. Time's up for these guys. Next climbers will be coming out. Got the brushes, giving the climbs a quick brush. Next climbers coming out onto the wall. We got Colin Curtis coming out for climb number 3. And we've got Mel coming out for his turn on the slab.
Mal not topping boulder number 1, might be feeling the pressure, but I'm sure he'll be enjoying the slab. Looks like Calren just missed the right hand, running up the volume. There we go, Calren catches the starting. Can he get the establish? Wow, Mal easily up to number 5 on his flash go. Looking super comfortable. Wow, easily up until number 10 for Mal. This is the... He's going to try just stand up on the volume, but the volume is not great.
Yeah, these holds really challenging the climbers today. Carl looking good getting in the start there, locking his fingers in that blocked volume just to get the establish. And this jump across really giving you an idea of how tricky it is. I mean, you guys saw how easily Carl did climb number 1. He's a world-class climber. And he's got a little bit of difficulties holding on. Jack doing really well with the right hand, trying to control the momentum, and Carl's hand and body swinging out. Meantime, we got Mel on the slab.
See if Mel can stand up on that volume this time without his foot slipping, or if he's going to try a completely different beta. Calvin gets to establish again, getting ready for the jump. Just peeling off both the climbers. These boulders definitely a lot harder than the semi-final round. Definitely challenging the climbers, trying to get a good separation between them.
Definitely a step up to what we saw in the semis.
Mel making that stand-up move looks incredibly easy. Getting up to 5, incredibly easy. This move around the volume doesn't look easy either, but just looks like he's floating.
Yeah, Mel, one of our strongest sport climbers in South Africa, and no slouch in the bouldering either. We got Calvin, problem number 3, struggling to stick that jump across to the left there. Got to be very careful in how you place your foot on that left volume.
Looks like he might just need a little bit more momentum to get to the good parts of the left hand. I think Mal might benefit from having both of his hands on the left wall instead of just the one. Could put him in a better position, like Calvin and Jack.
Yes, I'm struggling, dude. The music.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Carl looking good there. Almost slipping out of the start, but holding it. Gets a quick little chalk. Let's see if he can make this move across. So close there from Carl. If he can just stick this in the last 20 seconds, he'll be the first climber to get 10 points on this problem.
Mal getting really close there, almost standing up on that right volume. He's going to call it quits. Only had 10 seconds left. Very well climbed by both climbers.
Okay, ladies and gents, next up, our final climber on the slab. Men's number 2, we got Christopher Kossa. And for his burn on climb number 3, we got Damien Blocker.
I know Chris has been practicing a lot of slab in the States, in Salt Lake City. Let's see what he makes of this slab. Chris getting up to the first jib relatively easily. Looks like he's not completely comfortable just trying to stand up on the left foot. He might go for a different option. Looks like he wants to go, or looks like he wanted to go right hand up to the jib and then stand up on his left leg like that. Damien getting into the first starting hold. Let's see if he can establish. Established quite easily. Let's see if the jumping practice has paid off.
Let's see if all those hours practicing the dynamic style gives Damien an advantage here. He's looking way more in control than the other climbers have, using a nice right heel hook to control his body, swing his body out a little bit.
I think the right heel might pull your hips too close to the wall, whereas this move you want to start with your hips out and end with it in. Chris getting up to number 5 pretty quickly, getting out to number 10 very casually. Let's see if his foot will stay on this volume as he makes his way up to the top hold.
Yeah, Chris really showing his pedigree here. Spent a lot of time working on his flexibility, working on his mobility, balance, and the slab, not traditionally his favorite style, but He's been working on it, and you could see how easily he did that move. Or let's say how easily he made that move look. I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Damien kind of going for the same beta again, getting a right foot around that bottom starting volume. Doesn't seem like it's working for him. Let's see if he'll change it up or keep it the same.
Damien finding that establishing on the start a lot easier than Luke. I wonder if being a little bit shorter helps you sink a little lower into the hands. Really nice movement from Damien up until the point he has to really stand on that left foot, and you can see how terrible that left foot is, not giving a lot of purchase. I think you got to be a little bit higher in the hands, catching it with the elbows, you know, a little bit straighter, and your feet's a bit higher, your body much more in line, hips much more to the left.
Definitely. Looks like he's just too under the hold there, trying to catch it. I think if he could change up the beta and go for something like Kalrin did, I think it'll benefit him a little bit more. Sometimes climbers get super close, so you stick with the same beta, and I'm definitely a culprit of this. Wow, Chris making a big splits across to the side wall. I think he's trying to swap his feet on this left jib instead of having his left foot on. Just struggling a little bit there.
Yeah, Chris not quite getting that super high right foot that the other climbers have been getting. And I think that might help stabilize his body, help him get both hands on that wall on the left and press up a little bit. He's definitely got the upper body strength to press and walk his body up the wall. Ten seconds left. Chris not super psyched with that. He knows where he's got to be on this competition. He is the former African champion. He's been to the IFSC Youth Worlds as a youngster, been to a few World Cups, been to the Olympics, been to the World Games, and he's hoping to go back to the Olympics next year.
If you guys are not following the score on the IFSC app, currently leading the field is Kalrin Curtis, second is Christopher Cossa, third is Damian Blocker.
Okay, coming out for his first time on climb number 4, we got Luke Eberhard and Alistair Stubbs hopping onto men's number 3.
Alistair getting up to the starting hold with relative ease. Let's see if he can establish. Establish is much easier than Luke did. Maybe Luke is just struggling with skin and he just struggled with establish.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. Those holds super rough. Alistair Stubbs just looking and getting a clarification on what he has to do to start there. The judge is just explaining.
While Luke making his way up to the 10 hold. About hit it right now, looking extremely strong. You can see his power coming through there. Wow, lots of shoulder strength there. Alistair getting clarification if he established. Look on his flash go here. Looking really good, eyeing out the top hold, just missing it. That was very close. Extremely good first go from Luke.
Yeah, that was an amazing bit of climbing there from Luke. Really using those big wide shoulders, coming across into the final set of holds there.
Alistair trying to go straight to the undercling without using number 5, but I think that is not a good choice of beta. Giving a brush, Luke resting up. Luke is going to try very hard for his next go.
Let's see if Alistair finds that heel hook that Damien was using. Maybe with his height it'll allow him to come across a little bit more. And I still think the dynamic beta is going to be the way, really jumping up high, catching that close to your chest. But who knows, I'm always amazed at the moves climbers can pull on the wall.
Especially with their length, sometimes they can just do crazy new beta. in nationals, Alistair and Luke decided to skip a few holds on the first boulder and ended up topping it that way. Whoa, that looked really good from Alistair. I definitely think Alistair could do it like that if he gave it a bit more power, bit more strength. Luke looking really strong through these moves. Keeping that low heel. Now releasing it, moving up. That move up to 10 looks extremely hard. This move out to the shoulder looks extremely hard, especially if you're short. But Luke making good work here. Getting the high right foot this time. Using the blockers. Oh, and he hits the last hold. Amazing, really good work from Luke. Making the slight correction of putting the right foot up before going for the last hold really helped him there.
Yeah, that made a big difference for Luke and earned him the top there. That's really going to help him with the scores. Sorry, I just want you to take the password off because it keeps closing.
Really good work from Luke there. That boulder definitely suiting his style. Prefers burlier boulders. Not a huge fan of these jumpy comp style boulders.
Yeah, this final problem, definitely more power endurance, pure power, more old school climbing movements, just holding holds. But those two holds in the middle there, those big semicircles are really flat. Really got to press with your feet, get your body into the right position so you're creating enough pressure for your hands to stick. Without that pressure, your hands just slide off because those holds are close to sideways or upside down. Okay, next climbers coming on out. We've got, hopping onto problem number 3, Nicholas Allen. And hopping onto climb number 4, Jack Birmingham.
Jack, quite a funny character, coming out with heart-shaped sunglasses. Let's see if he'll keep them on his head while he's climbing. Nick looking very strong, getting up to that established point. Might struggle with it. I think Nick's skin is also not looking too great for this final round. Jack making easy work up to the left-hand crimp here, or just losing it as the left heel came out.
Nick just getting a bit of an explainer from the judges like we've seen already with some of the other climbers. That starts on problem number 3, really technical, really requires a lot from the climbers. And they got to work hard to get the balance there. He gets it now that he knows what's required. Let's see if Nick can wow us by hopping onto hold number 10. We're really hoping to see someone Olympic Games next year to represent South Africa. So if you're here for the Blue Bulls, come watch some climbing. We've got a couple of technical issues. We are currently live on the stream again. Welcome to everyone. And let's get this ball rolling. We'll have the climbers back on the wall shortly.
He says 5 minutes and exceeds expectation, eh? But the big thing about it. Are we streaming on the mics? Are these mics live now? Jason? Are my commentating mics live?
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the IFSC African Continental Championship here at Pretoria, Loftus Versfeld Stadium. We got big things going on. We got the Blue Bulls game happening in a little while. We got bouldering, the qualifying event for the Olympic Games. We had some technical issues with the power shut down across the stadium, and we're back. The live feed is back. We're back on the internet, and we're just waiting for the climbers to be ready. Gonna run down the clock there, and then in a second we'll bring the climbers out.
The power cutting out was a little bit upsetting. Jack was quite high up on boulder number 3 when they had to call him off because of the technical issue. But here we go again. Let's see.
Okay, let's welcome back onto the mat Nicholas Allen on men's problem number 3 and Jack Birmingham on men's problem number 4. They'll get the go-ahead in a few seconds. Okay, we're off.
Sorry, that was Jack on number 4, not number 3. Let's see if he can make it back up to his high point before he had to get before he got called off. Very, very strong start from Jack and Nick. Jack's looking very strong, crimping down very hard on that left hand. Trying to match in that blocked hold. Rolling over to 10, looking very strong right now. Come on, Jack. Very strong in the shoulder move. He needs to put that right foot up just like Luke did. And he finds it.
Really nice climbing there from Jack. Yeah, manages to get up there.
Very psyched. Very, very psyched.
Classic move from Jack Birmingham. I wouldn't expect anything less.
You can just see the excitement from his face and his body language. Very excited.
We got 1 minute left. Jack done with climb number 4, and that'll be the end of his bouldering round. We'll see him a little bit later in the lead. Nick Allen still on the mat, seeing if he can make some progress on climb number 3.
Nick is usually very, very good at these kind of jumps. That just shows you how hard this jump on men's 3 is. Here we go. Let's see if we can get over to number 10. Almost. He looked like his body was traveling in the right direction and his positioning was moving into the right direction. I think he just needs a bit more momentum to land that foot a little bit further left.
Yeah, this climb really challenging the climbers that we've seen on it so far. No one managed to stick that move. Awesome climbing there from Jack Birmingham and Nicholas Allen. We've got a few more climbers coming out. We've got a few more problems left to go. Just getting a quick clean there. Okay, next climbers coming on out onto the wall. We got Colin Curtis. We got Mel Janssen from Rensburg. Let's give these guys a round of applause.
Carl recently has been working Murta in Cape Town, so his fingers should be feeling extremely strong. I think he'll make fairly easy work of the crimps on top of this boulder. Carl opting for a heel hook there on the dual text starting hold. Very interesting. Let's see if he puts in the left heel hook. There we go. Wow, Mal almost sticking number 10. That was very close. Carl just losing the tension as he moved up to the Gaston. Mal just getting a confirmation with the judge on the establishing position. Let's see if he can stick it this time. Looking very strong. Looking very, very, very close on that jump. That left foot just slipping as he gets the left hand into the undercling and the right hand on top of the volume. I know Mal's not the biggest fan of these kind of coordination jumps, but in this competition he's been doing really, really well on them. Off the 2 climbers go. Just sliding off for Mal. Kalran looking really good. Making his way up, getting closer to number 10.
Carl really holding the balance there. Such a fine balance point and just managing to get his fingers in there. Going to get that high foot right next to his hand. His flexibility and strength really coming into play here. And Mel trying some sneaky different baiting. You can see the way he's bouncing on the mat. That is full of energy. A top for Kalran Curtis. Super cool climbing there.
Just like Jack, also very psyched with that top.
Top there from Colin Curtis will really put him into a good position. And Mal just getting a little input from the judges on what counts as a valid start, making sure that he's on the start properly there. Without the proper start, doesn't matter how far you get, you got to be established. Such are the rules of IFSC calm climbing. Let's see if he can make this move. We're really hoping he can stick it. Oh, super close, getting a brush there. Knows he's running out of time. Knows he's got to get a top or two to put him into the running later on to add to his lead score. He's a really great lead climber, but he knows he's up against some of the top climbers in the country as well, and the lead could be anybody's game, and how well you do on the boulders can make a huge difference.
Right now, Mal is sitting in 7th. Wow, sticking in the jump. Very, very good stuff from Mal. This last hold is not good. From the setters were saying this last hold is not good and quite accurate, so you really have to know where it is. Oh, wow, look at that. Amazing, amazing stuff from Mal. Amazing climbing from Mal. Must be very, very psyched with that. Crowd going absolutely wild.
Awesome climbing there from Colin Curtis and Mal Janssen van Rensburg. Let's get ready for our next two climbers. They're going to be coming out. For those of you that have joined us on the field, this is bouldering, one half of lead and boulder. A little while later, we'll see some climbers on that tall wall on the right-hand side. Trying to get as high as they can. For now, they've got 4 short climbs that they've got to figure out and do. Coming out onto the mat, we've got Christopher Kossa. He went to the Olympics in 2020, representing South Africa for this sport. And joining him on the right-hand side, we've got Damian Blocker.
When I was climbing with Chris the other day, he was looking very, very good on these coordination type of boulders. Let's see what he does with this coordination problem. Again, getting a lot of these climbs getting called off by the judges just for the establish. Climbers are a little bit confused about what the judges are telling them.
Yeah, this is a high pressure environment, and it's really been good to see the climbers staying calm and control there.
Left foot just goes there for Chris. Damien looking quite good, making up his number 5. But just missing the left heel there, which would make his positioning a lot better.
Chris really struggling to figure out the start there. We've had some climbers get it nice and easy, and it's easy to see how you can get frustrated if you keep falling off the start on a technical start like that. Chris doing really well, keeping calm, brushing. Gonna give the feet a brush as well, I'm sure. Damien also giving those holds a brush, making sure the texture's as good as possible. A small percentage of difference in friction can make a huge difference when you're climbing here. If you've got the ability to hold on just a fraction of a second longer, could be the difference between getting that foot which stabilizes your body or getting established on the start. Damien with that right heel, you can see his 2 textures where his right heel goes. And Chris really just struggling to find the balance there. We've seen the climbers really just not being able to figure it out. Must be super pressured environment. Everyone knows how far they've got to get. We just saw Mel top this boulder. We know Chris is hoping for a good performance here. He's been to the Olympics. Oh man, this is stressful. Tony, how you hold it up here, mate?
My hands are very, very sweaty just watching these boys. I think we might see an appeal from a few guys on this men's number 3, because there were a few that tapped their foot and got the establishment. Oh, maybe he's calling, I think he might be calling a technical because there's some water on the mats. Not sure what's happening down there, but it looks like they are trying to dry the mats with a towel or something like that. There we go, one of the officials will bring a towel out. Yeah, I think Chris must have called a technical for water on the mat. So I think he'll come back out once everything is dry and be given another minute and a half or 2 minutes.
Meanwhile, we've got Damien Blocker, D-Bubs, 40 seconds on the clock. We've seen 2 tops on this climb already, Luke and Jack. Damien's got the power, he's got the ability. Has he got the mental? Has he got the ability to do it in the last few seconds?
Come on, Damien. Looking very strong up to number 5. Looking very strong up into the shoulder move.
Really nice climbing from Damien, yeah.
Goes wide, skips number 10. Gets a, oh. The hand just popped before he could bring his right foot up. He was looking very, very strong, looking very good.
Great climbing there from Damien Blocker on climb number 4. The judges and the officials just drying the mat there on men's number 3. And coming out next, climb number 4, we'll have Alistair Stubbs.
If I'm not mistaken, these are the final 4 athletes, except for Chris, of course, needing to do number 3 again. But the final 4 athletes on problem number 4. This is exciting stuff. We are nearing the end of this comp. We are almost moving into the lead portion.
Alistair Stubbs, this is one of his fortes. He's been climbing on the moonboard, climbing on the spray wall at his local gym. Friends and allies. Been putting in the hours, putting in the training. Can see he's looking really confident on this move here. Or just struggling as he comes across left hand. We've seen a lot of climbers go there with their right hand first. And I think crucial, maybe a little bit more awkward for Alistair because of his height, but super crucial to get the right foot higher on that wing-shaped volume and create the pressure that pushes you into the number 5 hold.
Alistair definitely looking very strong in this finals. He was complaining a little bit before the competition, saying that his endurance wasn't where he wanted it, but yesterday in the semi-final route, definitely looked like he had plenty of it. The men are looking like they seem a little bit more tired than before the technical issue. Maybe they might have just cooled down a little bit from waiting around, waiting for the power to come back on.
Yeah, sitting in the back there, I went and checked in on how they're doing. They were sitting on the chairs. Obviously, there's no warming up facilities or anything like that to keep them going, so they were just waiting to find out. And that period of not knowing why the power's out, not knowing when it's coming back can be quite a strain on the brain of a climber who's waiting to come out and perform the best they've ever have.
Alistair looks like he's just losing the tension in his feet there while he's trying to go left hand over to the hold just under number 10. I think he might try a different better. Oh, Chris is back on number 3.
Yep, Chris getting the mat sorted and getting that technical, finding some sneaky beta there to get established in the start. Looks like he's good. Crazy beta from Chris with a really wide press. Let's see if he can figure out and do something here. Sure, super cool. Chris has got a little smile on his face. He thinks he's figured something out. He's making some progress. I'm sure that's got to be encouraging.
Man, your shoulders definitely be very, very strong for that kind of beta.
I mean, one just has to look at Chris to know. Man's been in the gym. I've seen him bench press. It's an incredibly impressive thing.
I've seen him bench press 100 kilos while weighing only 60 kilos. That is, in my opinion, quite crazy.
1 minute left on the clock for these climbers. They'll have heard that buzzer. They know what it means. Time to step it up. Time to pull the power out of the bag. Alistair Stubbs on his last boulder, looking really good.
Just losing the left heel there.
Sure, those feet being super crucial. Holding your body into the wall, keeping your body in place. That foot pops off, it's hard to recover.
I think Chris might be feeling the pressure right now. He knows he has to do this boulder, but he's just struggling with the jump, looking at the clock, seeing he's got limited time. But he knows he only needs to do this once. Come on, Chris.
If he can just stick that 10, it'll give him a lot of good points here.
Just not finding a really good effort from both athletes.
And Alistair Stubbs also not managing to get the 10 on number 4. Awesome climbing there. That's the last of the climbing on men's number 3. We've got a few more climbers on number 4. And then we'll be pausing and coming back for the lead. Up next, we got from the Western Cape, Nicholas Allen.
This final boulder should be Nicholas's bread and butter. He is exceptionally strong. I think he's definitely got some of the strongest fingers here in South Africa. We're playing around with Adam Ludford's force measuring device with a 20 mil. Nick managed to pull 94 kilos, which I think is quite insane. Nicholas is only 16 years old. He did his first AP Plus this year after downgrading 2 other ones. As you can see, the power coming through. Chalking up in a position that most athletes would find very difficult. Cutting loose on the crossover move. You can see he's just so comfortable on these holds. Chalking up, looking extremely chilled.
Nick Allen looking really good there. Elbows coming out a little bit, it's enough. Stretches through, makes it onto the top there. Seen a few climbers just hanging on the one arm there. So excited to be on the top. Taking out a moment to show off, I think. Nothing wrong with that, eh?
Nothing wrong at all. Giving a little flex to the crowd.
That was Nicholas Allen from the Western Cape. Some amazing climbing. We're just resetting the time and then we'll be ready for our next climber. Next climber out onto the wall. We got Mel Janssen van Rensburg.
Let's see how Mal does this on this boulder. He crushed yesterday's power boulder. Mal normally not an extremely powerful climber, but let's see how he does.
Yeah, Mal growing up in Watervalboven. Super technical, really great in that slightly overhanging, crimpy sandstone terrain. That's where his home turf is, but he's been staying in France, training with the French team. And I think that especially a bit of comp style training has really benefited him. I'm really psyched to see him in the lead. And he's really improved as an all-round comp climber in the last few years.
Mal looking quite strong on his first go. Looks like that right Gaston is quite extended for him. He is one of the shorter competitors. The other competitors reaching that Gaston with relative ease. Off he goes again.
Can see Mal just catching the number 5 hold right at the bottom, the edges of his fingertips, moving a bit high and getting into a good position. Keeping the toe and the heel there. Really nice climbing. Into that super double Gaston, really wide there, bringing his body up, finding the good hold, feeling around, wondering what he's going to do. Does he get that high foot? He does, and he crosses into the final hold. Super cool climbing from Mal. Really smooth. Chris sitting in the back carrying the crowd. He'll see the timer. He knows that he's going to be coming out and going to have to give this one. Hopefully we see a flash here. Mal Janssen van Rensburg from Mpumalanga. A really amazing climbing. We've got one more climber coming on out. It's Christopher Cossa. He's going to be hopping on men's number 4, the final boulder of this half of this competition. If you've just joined us on the live feed, this has been streamed all around the world via the IFSC, the International Federation of Sport Climbing. And if you're here for the Blue Bulls game, this is climbing, and these guys are fighting for a chance to go to the Olympic Games next year in Paris.
Here we are, last climber, last boulder. This should be easy work for Christopher Cossa. He's extremely strong. His fingers are extremely strong. As you can see, jumping up to number 5, making it look easy, putting that heel in, got tons of tension, easily releases that left heel, easily reaches up to that left Gaston. Opting for a right heel hook, bumping in, struggling a little bit, but easy finish for him. There we go.
Oh yes, amazing climbing there from Christopher Cossa. To everybody who's been watching and cheering and supporting, we'll be back in about 20 minutes for the next part of this competition, which is the tall and upside down wall on the left of the bouldering wall. For everyone on the IFSC channel, we'll be back shortly.
Can we cut to a holding screen? Jason! Can we cut to a holding screen?
For everybody who's been watching in, apologies for the technical issues. We had some power problems, but we're back. We're here at Loftus Versfeld. I'm here with Tony Flynn. Tony, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Alistair. We'll enjoy the lead shortly.
Oh yes, we will.
Sorry, the stream is continuing.
So we'll be back a little bit later, waiting for the tech guys to cut to the holding thing, and we shall see you later.
Yeah, you guys have done well under the conditions. You guys have done amazing. I feel like I want to shut like, the next section now, long no, wait. Only 40 minutes. That's quite short, yeah. 8 athletes, 6 minutes an athlete. About 40 minutes, 15 minutes break, and then the ceremony. So I would say 20 minutes and 40 minutes an hour. I would say an hour and a half, hour 45 and done. How long is it going to take before they start? 20 minutes. 20 minutes, but if we're ready on the stream in 15, that's perfect. Okay, and that's going to take about 40 minutes. Yeah. I'd say... No, I must go into the game. So I'm going to take my camera then. One of these guys has to do it. Okay, yeah, that is what it is. You know? Yeah. Cool. Thanks for your work. It's been super awesome. Are we safe? I think so, yeah. Are you done? I'm done, yeah. Great. Enjoy it, eh? Sure. I think I've got your name and your number on that IFSC stream. So you go back from the same man? I'm happy to do that, yeah. What's up? Good luck for the game, yeah? Your day's just beginning in a way, hey? Yeah. At least there I'm sure you get a comfy seat and a control booth and all the regular things. And I think on that side you get a comfy seat and a control booth. No. I'm going to record. Oh, you from the open stand. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah. Enjoy. Still work. Yeah. Okay, yes. I'll say yes, sure. Get hydrated. KP, where we at? My man, we over here. Let me give you a quick rundown of these microphones. So a little less organized than last time. We don't have the screen to look at, so we're going to look through here onto this box. Let me just, can I get in here real quick? We've got two screens. We've got a lot of screens here. This is the screen that's live. This is the screen that is on one of these. Anytime they press tab, this one goes to the live one. This is the one that's turned around. We can also look out and see the wall. Yeah. We're going to be standing right here. Yeah. Then these are the microphones, proper commentating microphones. Put this thing against your lip.
And it holds at the perfect distance and all of that. Yeah.
Or me and I'll have Tony on.
Always under pressure. That's what it feels like. Belonging. And no, I'm not afraid. No, I don't feel safe without you. Without you.
Okay, everybody, our athletes are out having a look at the wall. They got 6 minutes of viewing time. For those that are joining us here, this is the IFSC Continental Championship in Pretoria. For those of you on the IFSC YouTube tuning in from around the world, welcome. And for those of you here at Loftus Versfeld watching the Blue Bulls, watching the IFSC African Continental Climbing Championship, welcome. My name is Alistair Fenton. I'll be commentating for today, and I'll be joined a little bit later by KP, one of the setters. He'll be joining me in the commentary box, I'm pretty sure, as soon as he hears this announcement. Thanks, KP. So the climbers in green and gold that you see at the base of the wall that's lit up, they've made their way through a few qualifying rounds of climbing to be able to compete in this competition. This is a competition to see who is the best in Africa. These are the top 8 climbers in Africa. And we had the ladies climbing this morning. If you're interested, you can check it out on YouTube. Search IFSC Climbing Africa. And these guys are looking at the lead wall, the discipline that involves getting as high as you can, getting higher and further than anyone else on the wall. And KP is joining me now in the commentary box. All right. Am I live? Okay, so we are live here. We've got climbing. Ugh, sorry, my brain is a potato, guys. I've only slept a couple of hours this whole entire week. And we've got the climbers looking at the climb. They've got just under 3 minutes left. They are having a look at the climb. KP, are you able to take us through the beta of the lead climb?
Yeah. Okay, really cool. So the beginning is actually super simple. Just a good crimp ladder, get the forearms ready to work. Then we go into a bit of a burly overhang, walking us through, and then we get into the thick of it with those red holes on the face. And just like a nice, techie, crimpy, powerful finish. Yeah, really excited for a good show, actually.
Oh, yes. And I see the route setters have taken out that higher draw that was in place for the ladies. Maybe we'll see some massive whippers.
At my request.
At your request, KP. I appreciate it. I think climbing indoors on plastic sometimes is a little too safe, a little too pedestrian. I'm an outdoor climber, a trad dad, and I love the balance of risk and fear and being able to control your mind.
Well, I'm a plastic bunny, a plastic princess as they call them, and I just wanted to see a show, honestly.
Comp climbing really is a spectacle, and it's really great to see a whole crowd here. I don't know if you guys can see on the feed, we got lots and lots of people coming around to watch the rugby and watch the climbing. And we got just over a minute for these guys to look, and then they'll be going back behind the wall. Climbing is a spectacle, and especially as competition climbing has grown, now that climbing's in the Olympics, really is spectacular to watch.
I've been doing a lot of walking around, And just hearing some of the people who are here to watch the rugby asking questions and like getting interested and like just peeking through the stands and stuff, it's really awesome to see. I even answered a couple of questions.
Oh, yeah.
Probably raised more than I answered, but
Yeah, climbing is, at first glance, quite a complicated thing, but if you understand the core principle of it, which is you're on the ground, you got to get as high as you can, and if you get to the top, even better. So let's see how these guys do. We really hoping to see some tops here. We saw a couple of tops in the boulder, which was really nice. Always exciting when a climber gets to the top. You know, it really gets the crowd going, really gets the climbers psyched. And I know the route setters, they're relieved when they see a few tops, but if those tops start to mount up, then the sweat starts to pour off their forehead. All right, we've come to the end of the viewing time for the athletes. They're going to be making their way behind the wall. We're going to have them come out one at a time, and their goal is to get as high up this wall of colored blobs as they can. Any climber that gets to the top gets 100 points, and you can see each of those holds is marked with some numbers. Starting low down on the wall on the blue holds, we've got a 10. A little bit higher up, we've got a 30. We got a 60, and then we got the 100. And the higher you get, the more points you get. And the bouldering that just happened on the shorter wall, the 4 climbs, the points the climbers got from those 4 climbs will be added to the points they get climbing up this wall, and that'll give them a score of a possible 200. And the person who's got the number closest to 200 will be going to the Olympic Games next year to represent South Africa. So if you sitting on the field, you want to watch something interesting, come on down and hopefully we'll entertain you. Okay, KP. How do you think these climbers are feeling? They're at the back there. We had a little bit of an issue with the electricity, putting a pause in the bouldering. Do you think they've had a moment to calm down, reset? They've done with the boulder, they're into the lead. How do you think they're feeling?
I have no idea. It's been a while since I've been on the competition stage, but I can imagine that they are, I guess, thankful for the rest that they're getting. It's not much. I think it's about, it's been 20 minutes since the last boulder got off the wall, right?
It has been about that, yeah.
Yeah, just a short amount of time and taking some time to read the route now. I think, I would be feeling really excited if I was them. I was talking to some of the competitors earlier today, and they just seem super psyched for the comp and super psyched to be here. And they're really excited about having a comp that looks like this in this country. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah, we're coming from a space where all of our comps have been inside climbing gyms, and this is a really great progression and really exciting to see the development of the sport. Going to do a quick shout out to our sponsors while we're here, and we got this opportunity before the climbers come on out for their first climb. So we've got the people that built this massive wall, Formscaf. They've done all of the construction of the scaffolding that allows these walls to be built. We're essentially on a rugby field. And the coordinator of all of that, George Stainton, vice president of our National Climbing Federation, and works for Sports Unplugged, and they are the event organizer of this competition, and also a big sponsor of the competition as well. And we've also got Waco Engineering, who've done all the engineering and signing off. Obviously, a big structure like this has to be safe for the climbers to climb on. Got Skyjacks providing the cherry picker and a bit of the logistics for the route setters. York Timbers providing the panels that make the wall. Raw Plug for the fixings, the screws, whole bunch of stuff needs to happen there. And Torcraft also providing some of the tools and materials. Our first climber going to be coming out. Let me get ready for that. Our first climber coming out for the lead portion of the IFSC Africa Continental Championship is Luke Eberhard. He's got 6 minutes to get as high up this wall as he can. clipping the rope through the quick draws as he goes. And if he gets to the top, give him a big cheer. Okay, so Luke is our first climber. We saw him in the boulders, and I'll get you an update of how the climbers are sitting at the moment. I just got to get, yeah, KP, MVP. Do you want to run us through the climbers and their rankings after the bouldering round?
Yeah, so sitting in 8th place, we have Alistair Stubbs. 7th place, Damien Blocker. 6th place, Nicholas Allen. 5th, Jack Birmingham. 4th, Luke Eberhardt. In 3rd, we have Christopher Cossa. 2nd is Calvin Curtis, and Mal Janssen van Rensburg is leading the pack at the moment. So Luke is on the wall right now. He didn't have a very good semi-final run, Luke. He just seemed to be struggling all the way through the boulders and all the way through the lead route, and just snuck in the last position for the finals. Very weird for him, because he's usually at the top of our podiums at these national competitions, or at national competitions. So I'm not really sure what's going on in his head. I think after that semi-final run, he just had a sit down and thought about things, and he started showing himself showing his old self a little bit better in this boulder round that we just saw. And I really hope we get to see a bit more from him in this lead climb.
Luke getting the crowd going, getting a little bit of support there. As KP said, he's currently ranked 2nd place after the bouldering round with 54 points. 4th. My bad. My scoring sheet is a little out of date here. Let me see if I can refresh it in the meantime.
Easily making his way to that 30 mark.
Luke looking nice and calm. He's been bouldering a lot lately, but spent a lot of time in his younger days doing some climbing on a rope. And you can see he's super comfortable in this position. Really moving well, yeah, through into the head wall, that big scallywags 5-sided volume. Really amazing climbing from Luke here. And it's always hard to tell with the first climber on the wall how hard it actually is. You know, sometimes the first climber comes out, nearly gets to the top, and everyone thinks, oh wow, this climb isn't so hard. And the next few climbers come out and no one gets as high as that first climber did. So we've got to see. Luke really is an incredible climber, and it looks like he's moving super well on the wall, super calm and collected. Still got a little bit of power in the arms, it looks like. Really doing well to hold on to that big round volume there. Luke through the 60 section into the top part of the route. Getting a little comfy there, deciding to move a little. Oh, just slipping before he gets the draw clip there, and that's some amazing climbing from Luke Eberhard.
Really great job on his part, yeah.
Awesome climbing there from Luke Eberhard from the Western Cape. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Also a big shout out to the city of Tshwane, also known as Pretoria, the city that's hosting this competition today. They are one of the capital cities of South Africa and playing host to this continental championship. We're in the province of Gauteng, and I am Alistair Fenton. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, Bile is taking the rope off. We'll be ready for our next climber. He'll be coming out very shortly. It'll be Jack Birmingham. We saw a really good result from him in the bouldering, getting a couple of tops. And we'll see if he brings the sunglasses. I see no more sunglasses. Must be a little dark now under the lights for sunglasses.
Jack really surprised me in the semi-final round. Not much of a strong lead climber, but he pulled his own.
Okay, everybody coming out onto the lead wall now. We got Jack Birmingham from Cape Town. Jack almost skipping the first draw in his enthusiasm and just reining it in enough. One of the most sensational climbers to watch because he really lets everything out on the wall and on the mats when he's climbing. Such a pleasure to see how emotionally engaging climbing can be, and some of our climbers and climbers around the world can be pretty reserved. But if there's one word to describe Jack, it's definitely not reserved.
Jack just floating his way through this crimpy section. Looking nice and collected.
So Jack, who is on the wall here, represented South Africa at the Youth World Championships in South Korea earlier this year. He was the team captain over there, and he's represented SA a few times, previously in Dallas as well. And he's one of the competitors hoping to make it through to the Olympic Games next year. If you didn't know, climbing, this weird sport that you're watching at Loftus Versfeld, is in the Olympics, and it's growing in South Africa, and it's one of the fastest growing sports all around the world. Jack looking really smooth on the wall here.
All these nice, big, burly, powerful moves are really Jack's bread and butter. He's very much a boulder at heart. All of his hardest sends outdoors tend to be very overhangy, very burly. But he's not too shabby on a slab either.
Yeah, for those of you on the live stream, I've got 2 microphones going, one for the crowd here at Loftus, one for you guys sitting at home, tuning in. Maybe you're at work, sneaking a little watch on your phone. Don't let your boss catch you. We know how addictive climbing is. If you can't be at the gym, what's better than tuning into the IFSC and watching the Continental Qualifier. Jack with some really good climbing there, falling.
You could really just see his elbows just popping right out there in those last 2 holds, and then just not having that strength just to pull through. But a really good effort from Jack.
Awesome climbing there from Jack Birmingham. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Oh, the power I wield, having 2 microphones. Wow, I'm enjoying it. Hope you guys at home are enjoying the live feed. I'm no Matt Groom, that's for sure. But I do my best, and I enjoy it.
You have almost as much hair.
Sure, I don't know, I might even say I have more hair than Matt Groom. I'll have to go to an IFSC event and we'll have a hair off, see who's got the most hair. The next climber who's going to be coming out is Cullen Curtis. He's done really well in the boulders and traditionally a super strong lead climber. Let me introduce him to the crowd. Up and out onto the mats. We got Cullen Curtis, Gauteng local, currently living in Cape Town. This man has represented South Africa many, many times over his extensive climbing career. For those of you who are wondering why I'm not talking about what's happening on the wall, this style of competition involves figuring out what's going on, and for the climbers who are sitting behind the wall waiting for their turn, if I tell everyone what's happening, they'll know what's happening, and we can't have that. A lot of climbing is problem solving, where you got to see something for the first time and figure out the movement, figure out what's happening, work out what you're going to do. It's a little bit like vertical chess. You're using your body, you're using your brain, and it really is an incredible sport. And if you're watching it for the first time, hop on YouTube. Maybe you've seen some stuff on Netflix. It really is growing in popularity. And if you're curious, just Google climbing and the city where you live, and I'm sure you'll find a place where you can go and climb. Right now on the wall, we got Colin Curtis. For those of you who aren't familiar with climbing competitions, the louder you cheer, the higher he gets, and the better we all feel. So let's get those voices going, warm them up for the rugby later. Okay, KP, you're one of the route setters for this esteemed competition. Can you give us a little more in-depth of what those holds are feeling like under Colrin's fingers?
So he just came out of that blue section, and it's all like these half pad, flat edge crimps. And then now he's in this yellow section, which has like a mix of like slightly in-cut crimps and some slopers. And it's just all about not letting go of the tension in the hand.
Colrin with a little bit of a campus move there, demonstrating the upper body power required for rock climbing.
He's looking really good through this section, nice and relaxed. Right where Jack was just fighting for dear life. Just chalking up, looking as casual as ever. I don't think I've actually ever seen this man sweat.
It's a well-known urban myth that Colrin doesn't have sweat glands on his body. He's always so calm and collected, never seems to be stressed. Even in the most stressful positions, this man has the ability to keep calm. Oh, just popping off there. Really good effort from Colrin. We're going to keep you updated on the scores and see how these affect the overall ranking.
You could just hear him start fighting there as he held that crimp just above the draw.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Colin Curtis, one of SA's most respected and esteemed climbers. Coming out next onto the mat, we've got a man named Damien Blocker. Spent a lot of time here at the Climbing Barn. It's a climbing gym in Pretoria, working there, training there, competing for their team, the Alphas. Oh, the Wolfpack. My apologies to anyone from the Alphas and anyone from the Wolfpack. Colrin is back behind the walls. Damien Blocker coming on out. You guys know the deal. Get those voices rolling, please. Okay, we got Damien Blocker taking his 40 seconds to have a look at the wall. Climbing under the lights here in Pretoria. And he's off. The time begins. Clipping the first draw. Getting into a nice high comfy position to clip the second. Coming through with the right hand, nice and easy. Getting a little chalk there. As KP mentioned, this first section not very challenging. And as I discussed with Colrin during the ladies, even though it's not so challenging, you still got to keep your calm together. It's hard enough that a mistake with the feet or trying to skip a hold and grabbing a hold in the wrong way could cause you to fall off. Climbers really got to concentrate and also make sure they're not making silly mistakes, not getting too tired by hanging around and shaking out and wasting time.
We see Damien here taking the strategy of just climbing through that first section really quickly, just trying to get through all the, just getting through the bottom section just a bit quicker so he can save his forearms for that tough section right at the top. Look at that beautiful rest. A little bit of crowd work there.
KP, you are one of the most natural performers I've ever seen, and it's always been a pleasure to watch you climb when you were competing. And I think climbers really underestimate how much energy can come from the crowd, especially in a situation like this where we've got lots and lots of people supporting. And everyone in the crowd just wants to see one thing, the climbers trying their best and doing their best and getting as high up the wall as they can.
The best thing about having a crowd like this is that everyone wants you to top. And you kind of feel that even when you're on the wall, when they're cheering you on, when and they get sad with you when you fall off. It's a really cool thing to see, and I don't think we see it much in other sports.
That's true. Yeah, this is a situation where the crowd really, really wants you to succeed, and the visual nature of climbing is nothing but inspiring. You know, to watch someone fighting their way up the wall. It's so obvious to see how well they're doing. It's so obvious to see when they're feeling tired, when they're not feeling confident, when they're feeling a little bit scared. And watching a climber who's confident and flowing really is an incredible thing. And it's easy to empathize with climbers on the wall and think, oh my goodness, if I was up there, I would be terrified out of my mind. And if you're a climber, you know that managing the fear is a big part of climbing in general, and in competition climbing there's also the added pressure of performance. You know, this is a performance event. It's happening in front of a crowd. Everyone wants to put on a good show. Everyone wants
Here we
to put
go.
on.
Damien fighting super hard over here. Just a little beta issue, a mistake, but he's keeping it together. Oh, look at that.
Really nice climbing from Damien. He's almost at the highest point that anyone has reached so far on the route. Takes a moment to chalk, using his elbow, forearm on that big orange hold. Those Rock Valley climbing holds manufactured in South Africa. Something that's pretty new for us is making big fibers locally. We are far, far away from Europe, even further away from America, and to import big macros, big fibers, costly exercise. So to have a local manufacturer is super cool and really going to help us in terms of comp style setting, having those holds available to us. Damien looking really good, getting the highest so far of any climber on the route.
Crimping super hard on those holds.
Is that
Just
an
getting
e-bar?
in, I think like a nice little knee scum probably. Oh, and we lose him as he goes for that next crimp.
Yo, that knee scum probably would have given Damien quite a lot of extra time there if it hadn't popped out.
A really good effort from him. I think you could see it a little bit in his body positioning and posture, that he started fighting from that crimp just above the second last crimp, the second last draw. And he did a really good job at just keeping it together through those next slopers.
All right, everybody, that was Damien Blocker doing really, really well, showing us how it's done. Let's give him a round of applause before he heads back behind the wall. The next climber that's going to be coming out is Alistair Stubbs. Alistair has represented South Africa many times in his climbing career. A homegrown local Johannesburg climber.
Just for you guys at home, to give you an idea of the standings so far, out of everyone who's done the lead climb, we have Luke in first, Calvin Curtis in second, Damien Blocker coming in third, fourth is Jack Birmingham. Now let's see what Alistair has in store for us.
So Alistair Stubbs has traveled around the world to represent South Africa and also done a lot of recreational climbing, and in his younger days climbed the esteemed grade of 8C. For those of you that don't know what it is, 8C equals very, very hard. So as I mentioned there to the crowd, Alistair Stubbs at the age of 13 or 14, saying to 8C, one of the longest limestone routes we have in South Africa, and really an incredible climber. Spent a lot of time climbing in Europe, in and around his travels through the youth circuit. KP, you're living with Alistair, aren't you?
I used to. We were roommates until earlier this year. Yeah. So I moved out specifically so I couldn't give him any beta on any of the climbs. That was the only reason I moved out.
It's a huge conflict between competitive climber and route setter. For those of you who don't really know what comp climbing is all about. It's a challenge on 3 different levels. First of all, a challenge with yourself. Can you climb as high as you can without making any mistakes, without doubting yourself? Can you solve the problems that the route setters have created? And can you climb higher and further than the other climbers who are trying to climb better than themselves and better than the setters as well? All of those things coming together to create the awesome spectacle that is competition climbing. If you are tuning in from home, if you are tuning in from around the world, if you are part of the competition climbing fraternity and you're interested in knowing which climber is going to be climbing for Africa at the Olympics, it could be this guy, Alistair Stubbs. He is currently in the steepest part of the lead wall.
Finding a super cool rest there with a toe hook and that far little slopey jug that everyone's campusing to.
Alistair looking super comfortable there. Struggled a little bit in the boulders. One of the taller climbers, which really is an advantage in the lead. Sometime in the bouldering, it can make it a little bit hard to fit into those smaller boxes, those awkward spaces, but on lead, generally you got a bit more space to stretch out and use that height to your advantage. And Alistair, for a long time, was a really short climber. And unfortunately, slipping off there, not quite getting as high as I had hoped, but really good performance nonetheless.
Almost kind of looked like he just completely powered out there.
Yeah, climbing, especially lead climbing, is an endurance event, and especially on this angle, power endurance. And as soon as that ATP runs out in your muscles, you know, you start accumulating lactic acid, the pump it sets in, the power runs out, and you feel like you can't hold on to anything.
He's just shaking his head as he's untying and talking to the belayer. I'm not very happy with his performance.
Okay, everybody, big round of applause for Alistair Stubbs. Next climber coming out all the way from the Western Cape, the city of Cape Town, the mother city where everything takes 9 months. We've got Nicholas Allen.
Alistair just slotting himself underneath Jack Birmingham in 5th place.
Nicholas Allen, one of the youngest climbers in the field here, currently 16 years old, represented South Africa last year in Dallas and this year in South Korea. He is one of the climbers who's made it into a semi-final at the Youth World Cups, which is a pretty big deal for us from South Africa. And he's off up the wall. Remember, guys, the louder you cheer, the higher he gets. And I'm talking about on the wall.
Nick having the 3rd highest score coming out of semi-finals and being one of the 3 people to top the semi-final lead route. I'm super excited to see how he does on this thing.
Yeah, Nick, as I mentioned, one of the youngest climbers in the field here. And, you know, he might not make it to the Olympics this time, but I think this comp will be one of the big stepping stones in his climbing career and give him the experience that'll come in useful down the line. Nick looking really comfortable. Getting a little chalk there. Foot dangerously close to the sponsor banner there, but I don't think that's going to cause any big technical incidents. Those of you that remember Adam Ondra, your heartbreak. But anyway.
Heartbreak Hotel.
Nick looking nice and comfy coming into the steepest part of the route. Man's an impressive boulder and is really comfortable in this overhanging terrain. Can see these climbers' bodies getting horizontal quite often as they get a high foot, a high heel. It's not a fashion item. It's a climbing technique where you put your foot pretty much close to the height of your head and engage your hamstring using the back of your shoe to take some weight off of your hands. Nick looking really good there.
Resting on some of the worst holds in that overhang, but making it look so easy.
I think
He's
that's
nice and calm and collected.
I think that's my biggest complaint about boulderers is they rest on the hardest holds of a climb and then they get to the top and they say how pumped they are. I mean, come on, guys. Sport climbing is about tactics, leading. You got to have good beta. You got to have good tactics. You can't be shaking out on the crimp and the sloper. Do it when you're at the jugs, for Pete's sake. Help us mere mortals feel at least a little good about ourselves. Nick
Just
looking-
casually hanging upside down, shaking out. It's just a regular Saturday.
Just a regular Saturday if you're an elite athlete climbing for your country.
Here he goes as he starts making his way through the meat of this route. Still looking nice and calm. There's not a single worry in his mind. Nice, strong, confident movement from Nick. Sure clips. Looking a lot more comfortable than most of the athletes we've seen at this point.
Nick currently coming into the finals in 3rd position. He did pretty well in the boulders, and in the semis did really well. Looking super comfy on the lead wall. Really looking comfortable. Not letting the
He
pump
shakes
get to
out
him.
and then goes straight into it. Ooh. Clips just a little bit of a ways away. Now here we go. Gets the clip out the way and now he's headed to the top.
Alrighty, guys. You know what's required from you. Nicholas Allen from South Africa looking really good on the lead wall.
Looking so calm through these crimps. Hits that massive Gaston. Oh, just loses it going for the second last hold. Oh, what a good show from Nick. Oh my goodness.
That was incredible climbing, and with 2 more climbers left, we got to wonder, will we see a top on this climb? We know the next 2 climbers out, Mal and Chris, are incredible climbers. They recently did a challenge on one of our well-known sport climbing routes, a true test piece at the grade of 70 plus. Did a fundraiser for some of the kids that live in the town of Boulder and seeing how many laps they can do and raising money, and they did over 100 laps combined.
Those of you on the live stream, if you're wondering what that thump, thump, thump you're hearing, that is my heart. The microphone is pressed up against my chest and I'm very excited.
Okay, everybody, amazing climbing there from Nicholas Allen. Give him a big round of applause. We've got 2 climbers left, and then we'll know who's going to the Olympics next year.
We've got 50 comp tickets, so we don't know if we're going to give it to the route setters. Who's going to want to go rugger? I don't know. Yeah, I know, everybody wants to go home. So I think we should announce anybody who wants to come watch rugby, got complimentary tickets from the Blue Bulls. Just at a right time.
Okay, cool.
Just to come to us.
Okay, next climber out onto the wall from Mpumalanga. Boerven local. We got Mal Janse van Rensburg. This man went to Pretoria Boys High. He knows where he is, and he is right at home, both on the climbing wall and in Pretoria.
Mel over here with the home ground advantage. There's actually a lot of Boys High alumni in the crowd. You can hear all those deep voices going, Mel!
We have a really strong climbing culture at Pretoria Boys High. They've had quite a few strong climbers coming through their climbing program, and I'm sure in the future we'll see many, many more. Mel currently the 2nd last climber that we're going to see in this competition. Breaks my heart to say it, but we're almost through the IFSC Continental Championship Africa version happening right now in Pretoria. It's been a wild ride. We had speed climbing. We had the men's and women's qualification semi-final process to see who the top 8 are going to be. And we already know who's going to the Olympics. 3 of those tickets have already been secured. 2 for speed climbing, 1 for the ladies for this discipline of lead and boulder. Mashed together and fighting it out currently on the wall is Mel Janse van Rensburg. He represented South Africa at the World Games. He's been in a few World Cups, he's been in a few Youth Worlds, and now he's climbing in a Continental Championship.
Something that's really fun, Alistair. Excuse me, I just really like numbers. When the ladies went into their lead climb coming from the boulders, the top 2, Rowan and Lauren, the separation was 4 point, it was 4.7, right? And we have the same difference between Mal and Chris now going into...
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens.
Oh, wow. So we've got 1 climber left, Chris Cossa, and we're really hoping to see him do well as well. Spent a lot of time with him as a youngster, spent a lot of time with Mel, and it's really incredible to see how far these guys have come from being little gym rats running around, getting under people's feet, to now being well-respected and dominant climbers in the South African climbing scene. Mel on the wall here, the only South African climber to have sent 9A sport climbing. And really impressive all-round climber. Done some big trad missions, done some wild sport climbing, and of course spent quite a lot of time in Rocklands as well.
Mel hits this nice big RVC sloper. Shakes out just a bit, prepares himself for this last yellow section. Tries to go for the clip. Gets it in. Shakes out just one more time. And now he's going to set himself up for this yellow section. Here we go. Looks back at the clock.
If you're a local from Pretoria, give this man some love. He's fighting. He's doing his best to give you a show. And you know where he wants to go. We want him to get there as well. Come on, Mel.
Mel looking nice and comfortable here at home on these crimps. Also a Boerven local, which is a popular climbing spot here in South Africa. Hits this crimp that Nick just fell on, sets himself up for the last move, and that's a top for Mal Janse van Rensburg. Awesome job from him.
Really good climbing there from Mel, and pretty much securing a spot to go to the Olympics. Chris, even if he gets a top of 100 points, won't be able to beat Mel's score. Chris Cossa, the next climber out, still got to come out and give the crowd a show. He'll have heard that. He'll know what's happening, and oh, my heart goes out to Chris. I'm sure he's got the sportsmanship within him to give us the show that we want. And
Mel and Chris have been competing together for as long as I can remember, and they've always been the best of friends. And I know that Chris is back there shouting his lungs out for Mel.
That was some amazing climbing there from Mel Janse van Rensburg. Give him a big round of applause, everybody.
We see all the athletes on the side there, everyone who's just come off of this lead climb, high-fiving Mel, giving him a hug, congratulating him. What a beautiful moment. I'm even getting a bit teary here, Alistair.
Our final climber for this competition is going to be a young gentleman named Christopher Cossa. And we are sending him the good vibes to make it to the top of this wall. Good luck, Chris. All right, Chris. We're behind you. Do it for the crowd. Do it for the fans. Do it for all the supporters watching.
And do it just because you know you wanna.
Do it because you can. Chris looking really nice and calm through this section. Really smooth climbing. There's a reason he's one of the best in South Africa. There's a reason he went to the Olympics in 2021. And, oh man, it'll make my heart happy if he gets to the top, knowing he gave it everything he could on the lead. Just had a little bit of bad luck on the bouldering, and like you said, KP, such a narrow margin separating them. One zone in the bouldering, one top in the bouldering would have made all the difference, but this is competition climbing. It is how it is, you know, and how you do is how you do, and all you can do is learn the lessons, go home, hop into the training cave, hop onto the fingerboard, train your body, train your mind, and do the best you can at the next one.
Chris looking ever so calm, ever so collected.
I don't think so. No. He's got it. Chris can't overtake. No, that's Damien. He's around somewhere. I don't know where he is.
Chris just shaking out here by this big red sloper. Just making sure his tank is nice and full before he gets into this yellow section. Lovely climbing from Chris. So
Okay,
cool.
okay, let's get some noise going for Mr. Christopher Kossa from Johannesburg.
And that's a top from Chris, saluting the crowd. He knows what's up. He's a little bit disappointed, but I'm pretty sure he's so psyched for Mel.
I'm sure he's super psyched for Mal, and I guess we're going to see that big emotional hug when he gets down to the bottom there. It probably needs a new battery, just a heads up. Fantastic climbing there from Christopher Kossa. Fantastic climbing from all of the gentlemen we've seen throughout today. Sure, what an inspiration.
What a great show. All of these men came out on both these stages and gave their all. It was a really awesome show to see. And this whole comp, from this final, from the ladies final, the semis included, even the speed competition we had 2 days ago, it's been a really awesome show. The best that Africa has ever pulled off, and I am so excited to have been a part of it.
I know. That's why I need Jason.
So you can see there Mal getting a hug from his dad, one of the OG climbers of South Africa and manager, owner of the lodge at Bouldering, and home of many, many international climbers when they come to South Africa for the amazing sandstone sport climbing that is Bouldering. You know that this guy's going to be getting hugs all around. A hug from Lauren Makaiba. She won the ladies. The two of them are going to be going to Paris together. Everyone coming in.
There's some Pretoria boys.
Ladies and
giving
gentlemen,
him hugs.
Okay,
can we
we're
have
gonna
your
cut to
attention, please?
The MC of the
A
moment.
big round of applause for our route setters. Number one, route setters. A second round of applause to our great athletes. What a performance. And the third one, thanks to the sponsors, thanks to Loftus Versfeld to allow us to put up this fantastic structure. so that these guys can perform and showcase sport climbing to the world. What an awesome day. I would like to ask our jury president, 1 second, can you unlock it? We have to announce the results before the guys have to go for their blood test. In third place, Nicholas Allen from Western Cape, South Africa. The young future of South African climbing. In second place, the one and only Christopher Kossa. And our champion, the IFSC African champion, who's going to Paris 2024, is getting a golden ticket, Mel Janse van Rensburg. Thank you very much, everybody. And a big thank you to all our sponsors. Without this, we would not have been able to achieve it. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. Drive safe. And we're going to be watching Mel and the rest of the South African team in Paris 2024.
All right, everybody, just a heads up. We're going to be having the awarding ceremony in a little bit. It's going to be here at the base of the speed wall, this big white thing with the red blobs. It is real climbing for those trad dads that have come to attend. And I've heard from George that we've got some tickets to hand out for the rugby. So if you are a Blue Bulls fan and you haven't got a ticket yet and you'd be interested in watching the game, come on down to where I am here at the base of the speed wall, and we shall hook you up, as they say. For those of you who are still watching via IFSC and the YouTube, we've got a little bit of local events happening here, and then we shall be going on with the prize giving. I can do is
Check, check.
how many of the climbers do you think are going to be good?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to do the official announcements. Everybody off the wall, and everybody this side, please. Sorry to do that, guys. We want a big crowd in front of the golden ticket handover. Thank you. All athletes, everybody this side, please. Come, guys. We'd like the route setters here as well, please. Jan Garrett, if you could come here as well, thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, please, guys. Athletes, all of everybody. Over this side here. We're doing it over here, guys. Off the mats. We've been told to, you got to get this side of the fence, please. We'd like to open up here with inviting all the route setters. With the lead route setter, Jan, and lead route setter, Garrett. Please come to the podium. They're declining, it looks like.